We're at the North Loop Trailhead, and we are still working on piecing together the wilderness areas of the 6-peak circuit run. And this is going to be the final wilderness area that we need to traverse in order to piece these 6 peaks in the Spring Mountains together into one huge circuit run. The peaks are Harris Mountain, Griffith Peak, Charleston Peak, Lee Peak, Mummy Mountain, and Fletcher Peak. And today we're going to piece together that section between Fletcher Peak and, between Mummy Mountain and Fletcher Peak. And what you see here is Mummy Mountain. When we finally summit Mummy Mountain, the goal is to come down this cliff area, traverse the wilderness, and then connect with Fletcher Peak Trail just beyond Raintree. And I expect to be just exhausted by the time I hit Mummy Mountain, so that's why I planned this, so that I can just pretty much rest as I'm going down that cliff. It's downhill. I'll probably be sitting a lot on the way down, and take a nice rest and hit the bottom, go through the wilderness, and then head up to Fletcher Peak. So today we're going to map out that wilderness area. I've never made it in this direction before, coming down the mountain. I've gone up the mountain, not down the mountain. So we're going down up and down Mummy Mountain Cliff today in order to piece this last section together. Okay, here we go. This North Loop Trail, the beginning section, is still one of what I consider the most beautiful stretches of trail in the Las Vegas area. Beautiful pine trees, trail very well maintained. It is a pretty much dramatic incline. There's not many plateau areas where you can rest from the incline. But look at these trees, how beautiful they are. This whole section of forest. Okay, next stop will be an amazing plateau on this trail. Did you ever have one of those "why am I so tired" days? I always try to analyze that. I look back to the sleep that I've gotten the week before, and I look to my eating habits, because we've also had those days that, oh my gosh, I feel so much energy I could go forever, and I don't even feel any exhaustion. This is one of those "why am I so tired" days. And I think I've figured it out. Last week I did the Harris Griffith circuit. Took about 9 hours, avalanche slopes the whole way. So I'm still recovering from that. And the other thing is, I just realized I put in my backpack an extra 3 liters of water that I'm going to leave on top of Mummy Mountain, so that when I reach that point in the 6-peak circuit, And I predict I will have run out of water at that point. I'll have just the water that I need to make the final down the east side of Mummy, up Fletcher, and back to the Trail Canyon trailhead where I began, where I will have begun next week. So all that extra weight and still recovering from last week is what I would estimate is my reason for being pretty tired right now. But by virtue of that fact, once I leave this water on top of Mummy Mountain, the 3 liters, and I reach the top of the mountain, start heading down, I believe that I will have more energy than I have right now. So we'll see. So, continuing on this beautiful, beautiful stretch of trail. Here we are at one of my most favorite places in all of Spring Mountains. This is a plateau. You come emerge in this plateau after going a couple miles on the North Loop Trail. And, you know, what you see immediately is you see the east side of Mummy Mountain, and we're looking straight at what I call Delta Canyon. And the reason I call it that is because it's like an upside down river delta. And you can see the fingers reaching out as you ascend. I'll be taking the right delta once we get to that canyon. And as a matter of fact, the long timers here in the Las Vegas area actually refer to this as the fingers. So I call it Delta Canyon. I kind of like that name. But what you notice on this plateau is the bristlecone pines that have fallen, and they look kind of like driftwood. They've just made some amazing sculptures. You notice this also on top of Mummy Mountain. But here, you know, just look at these sculptures, and it gets even better as you move along. Just a minute, let me make sure that, yeah, here we go. Okay. It's just a plateau of beautiful, look at the wood grain on this. It's, you know, look at this. There, 1,000 years of human artwork could not duplicate or create this design that you see. It's incredible. And then, yeah, look at what the wood sculptures and the spring flowers create. They create scenes that, you know, everyone aspires to create something like this in their backyard as a you know, beautiful area. But you know, it's just incredible what is in this area. And like I said, it doesn't quit. Here's some more. Even in death, these giants are truly amazing. Look at this. Look at those designs. Can you imagine ever trying to design something like this? It's just totally incredible. Had to stop the video and take a picture of that last one. Like I said, it just does not end. Yeah, we're gonna spend just a little time up here. Took enough time to reach this point. We might as well enjoy this very unique and beautiful area for just a moment. I try to catch myself now and then when I'm rushing to reach a mountain summit. And, you know, it's we do ourselves a disservice if we just stay on that linear trail and we miss some of the incredible beauty that's around us. I'm going to take a few more pictures here. Look at this tree, still standing. Looking as beautiful in death as it looked in life. The way it has weathered over time. Look at the different shades. Ancient bristlecone pines. This pine was probably a couple thousand years old. Who knows, it may be around another 1,000 years. Another ancient pine. And look at this one. This is also amazing. These pine trees, they don't just die. Kind of like humans. Like me sometimes, the way I feel is that, see, there's life in this tree, but it is ancient. It's just got this combination of living tree and then areas that it's given up. And like I said, it just continues on and on in this plateau. Okay, here's a better view of the approach to the summit of Mummy Mountain. And you'll see there, that's what I call Delta Canyon because of the fingers that reach up. And I'm going to take the right delta. I took the left one. The right one I call Mummy Mountain Northeast, and on the LasVegasAreaTrails.com. The left one I call Mummy Mountain Southeast. And I'll never forget, last summer I did Mummy Mountain Southeast, the left approach. Beautiful little canyon as you get to the top, and you're thinking, wow, this is such a great little approach, and you're going right up this little canyon. You see that band of trees near the top. You're circling around and then going along that band of trees and then circling up to the summit of Mount Mummy. But before you get to that band of trees, there is a ledge that's about 10, 12 feet high, and a vertical little cliff area. And below you, there's a 100-foot drop, and there's just a narrow place to stand on. And I thought I was going to lose it there. That's the closest I've ever come to thinking this is the end of my life. And as I was climbing up that ledge and I lost my my hold, I had one arm holding on and looking at a 100-foot drop below me. And I say on that day, I'm never doing this again. Well, next week, there I was again, doing it a second time, thinking, well, maybe, it wasn't so bad. That's what I call brain damage. So anyway, the second week, I said, no, I'm not going to do it again. Because when you get to the top of that ledge, there is a slope that is just loose rock. And so you're coming over the top of this ledge and you're hitting all this loose rock that just seems like, wow, this is just going to roll me back down over the ledge and down the 100-foot drop. But, both times I made it. But no, I will not do that again. I'm going to do the right side, which is Mummy Mountain northeast. And, this looks like an impossible cliff, but actually every point along the way, there is no exposure. You just have to navigate correctly. And you end up at the summit and you're thinking, wow, how did I get here? That's the approach I'm taking today. And I want to map out you see the bottom of that wash, that canyon wash. That's where somewhere around just above the bottom where you see those two washes there, I'll be emerging from the wilderness. And I have never returned on this route. And so, it's always easier finding the summit of a mountain through the wilderness because you can always see your destination. But reconnecting with the little trail at Mummy Springs after heading through that wilderness area is a whole nother challenge. And so that's what we'll be testing today, how to come down that cliff, descend down the cliff, and then near about halfway up that large wash on the right, where the two washes almost emerge just above that area. I'm going to cut across and head parallel to the summit, and I'll be cutting across. It'll be a left from here, and heading back toward Raintree. So what I want to do today is piece together that route so that I'm certain to be able to find it after I'm totally exhausted and I've summited 5 peaks and I'm coming down this cliff and going through the wilderness. I do not want to get lost at that point. This is going to be next week, I think, that I'm going to do the 6-peak circuit. So we're going to map this wilderness area out real well today. Okay, onward. Okay, looking back down at the plateau, you emerge from that plateau, and then we're in Switchback world, or planet Switchback, because there are probably a series of, I don't know, I counted them once, 20, 30 switchbacks, and we're at 9,100 feet right now. And I'm going to measure what the altitude is when we hit the top switchback here. We hit the top switchback and then we head over to Rain Tree. It levels off a bit and there's some descent. But anyway, here we go, up Planet Switchback. Here we are at the summit of Planet Switchback. And, it was only a little over 400 feet ascent. So, not too bad. I guess it just seemed like more. It certainly is going to beat the 2,000 foot ascent on the east side of Mummy Mountain coming up. Anyway, at the summit of Planet Switchback, you could go right and stay on the upper ridge, or you could go left and stay on the main trail. I'm going to go right and stay on the upper ridge just because I love the view up here. And I think it might take a little longer, but I'm going to do it anyway. So here we go. This is why I do that upper ridge route, because, look at these views. You can see the whole east side of Mummy. And, here we start with Mummy's toe. There's the toe. And there's what is called Mummy's knees. And then Mummy's tummy up here, and that's the summit of Mummy, 11,500 feet, right up there in those trees. And then the head is over in this direction. Now, you say, I do not see a mummy in this. People have told me that before. But believe me, you want to see the real mummy that looks like it's ready to stand up and start walking, as one of those horror films. Look at LasVegasAreaTrails.com. Look at the 4-peak circuit, where I ended up summiting Griffith Peak and then was traveling along the south ridge of Kyle Canyon right at sunrise. And I looked back at Mummy. I took some pictures that are on the slideshow at the top of that page. And believe me, if you can't see the Mummy in that, then you'll never see the Mummy. It looks like it's ready to get up and start walking and terrorizing people. Mummy in the sunrise. So take a look at the best shot I've ever taken of the Mummy, and you'll see the head, the tummy, and the toes of Mummy Mountain more clearly than you've ever seen it before. So anyway, this is looking at Mummy from the east side, not so apparent, but from the south ridge of Kyle Canyon at sunrise. Wow, you can see the Mummy in all its glory. Okay, onward, and here's another shot of the ascent we're going to take right up this large wash and up this cliff area to the summit of Mummy Mountain. Okay. Onward and upward. Here we are on what I'll call the Detour Ridge, the summit of that little Detour Ridge, and on the North Loop Trail. And we are only about 300 feet below the summit of Fletcher Peak, which you see directly ahead there. And let's see, let's put down my hiking sticks and get a better view here. Okay, so there you have it. The summit of Fletcher Peak, only 300 feet higher than where we're standing at this moment. But of course, if you're here and you're ascending up to that area, you can see you've got a quite a bit of descent and then reascent to get up to Fletcher Peak. And incidentally, here's a great shot of La Madre Mountain. You see the Devil's Slide there, which I call the permanent snowfield. And you can see on the La Madre Mountain north page where I go up above the Devil's Slide and then on to the summit of La Madre Mountain. But you can see the beautiful granite cliff that looks almost like it was shaved with a knife. And then it's amazing area there. And then you get to the top of La Madre Mountain and you look down and you can see Red Rock Park and Calico Basin. By the way, here we are looking at Las Vegas Valley. And if you look carefully, it's a little bit of a hazy day. No more COVID social distancing, no cars on the road, clarity in the air. But you're looking straight at the strip. And again, this is why I love this little detour. It does involve ascending a little more than we need to get to Rain Tree and then on over to Mummy Mountain. But look at these views. Just incredible. And the beautiful bristlecone pine trees all around us. Ancient bristlecone pine forest. And there you see Mummy's Toe. And we'll ascend that and document that later this summer. And, oh, here we go. Griffith Peak. Right over here. And then there's the south ridge of Kyle Canyon, where I was saying, traversing that south ridge, along the top of the south ridge at sunrise, looking at the west side of Mummy Mountain, you saw the Mummy in all its glory. And just the tip over here of Harris Mountain. There's Harris Mountain, and then you can see the saddle, the cliff area. And if you go to the Harris Griffith circuit page, where I did that last week, 9 hours to get from the South Climb Trailhead up to the summit of Griffith Peak. Wow, that was a surprise. I thought it was going to be 5 hours. That's called a major miscalculation. And that's the first leg of the Six Peaks Summit, or Six Peaks Circuit, that hopefully I'll be doing next week. We shall see. It depends. I hope this is actually a decent rest day for me today, because I've got to recoup and be ready for that Six Peaks Circuit. Next week we'll start out at the Trail Canyon Trailhead, run over to the South Climb Trailhead, Cathedral Rock area, navigate the roads through Rainbow Subdivision, and then straight up to the summit of Harris Mountain, right up there, down the saddle. And it's gonna be night. I'm going to be doing that wilderness area, navigating those cliffs there. Yes, wilderness area at night, because I want to emerge at Griffith Peak in the early sunlight so that I can at least see 5 of the 6 peaks in the sun, in the light of day. Harris Mountain will be in the dark. In order to traverse that wilderness area, what I decided to do is, I'm going to need a really good light. So I got a headlamp that is rated for a distance, to light up a distance, 2,400 feet. And so this is like a nuclear headlamp I'll be wearing through that wilderness area in the pitch dark. And there is no moon that evening. So I'm going to only have my headlamp. Anyway, I'll circle all the peaks, Griffith, Charleston, Lee, and then finally Mummy, and I'll reach, I'll reach the summit up there, the 5th peak, and I don't know if I can do it, but I just want to give it a try, and then when I'm totally exhausted, I'll just kind of slide down this cliff here and then head over to Rain Tree, and which is down at the base of the Mummy's Toe here, and then over, around, and up to the summit of Fletcher, and then down to the Trail Canyon trailhead where I began. I'm hoping to do it in less than 24 hours. I'm not doing this because I'm trying to conquer any mountain peaks or conquer any distance or make any records, really. Although it probably will be a record. I don't know that this has been done before. But when it comes down to it, I'm doing it just for a 24-hour immersion in the wilderness and a spiritual experience, which is the real reason I'm out here. I'm not out here to conquer any mountain. In fact, as I ascend mountains, and I'm going up avalanche slopes like I will be in just a little bit today, it's not like I'm trying to conquer that mountain, but it's more like I'm letting that mountain draw me up. And that perspective just changes everything. It makes it's not a tedious experience, but it's like you are surrounded by this beautiful spirit that is drawing you up and pulling you upward. And there's nothing like that experience if you just let yourself, really enter into that experience and let it just permeate your whole being. Anyway, that's what I'll be doing in just a little bit as I head up that wash that you see, that large wash, and then up the cliff system. Right here. Yes. And on up to the summit, that little tree-covered hill. And by the way, the summit of Mummy Mountain is my favorite summit because it is so beautiful. Like this area, it just has so many beautiful sculptured bristlecone pine trees in every stage of development, and there's nothing like it. There's something about immersing yourself in this kind of setting that it enters into your subconscious and into your being, becomes a part of you, and subconsciously it just lifts your whole spirit, and that remains. I close my eyes during the week when I'm in the midst of I'm sitting in an office and glued to the computer as I'm designing websites and marketing, and I just close my eyes and I think, just for 15 seconds, I bring myself back to a place like this, and it totally erases all the everything, all the exhaustion and stress. Anyway, I look at my website too, LasVegasAreaTrails.com. I look at some of the images there and the videos now and then. I just take a break and just bring myself back to a place like this. And this is really what life is. This is on my last day. This is what I'm going to remember. I'm going to remember experiences like this. I'm not going to remember all those days that I sat in front of my computer screen, working on website code and marketing strategies. No, I'm gonna remember moments like this. This is what life is all about in my experience, and what makes life truly worth living. So, okay, well, I guess I've I've delayed enough. Now I need to head down to Raintree and then over to Madre Mountain. So here we go. Descending now to the beautiful Raintree. It's been around for 3,000 years. Think what was going on 3,000 years ago, 1000 BC. Just look in your history book. Amazing civilization just beginning. Classic civilizations, Egypt, Greece, in their height, 1000 BC. And Raintree was, at that time, a little sapling. And you see saplings along this trail and think, 3,000 years from now, provided that we care for this environment, those saplings will be looking like Raintree. And then here's Mummy's Toe above us. So let's just close in and get a better look at Raintree. Here we go.